This is in the locker room. This is before the game ended. Before the game ended. She comes out in the locker room and posts this. Like, what are we doing?
Sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, is anybody on this team gonna stand up for Caitlin Clark? JC Sheldon grabbing Caitlin Clark all game, clawing at her. It's like tonight was a brawl, folks. Tonight was a brawl, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, is anybody on this team going to stand up for? And Sophie Cunningham.
When Sophie Cunningham morphs into a one-woman wrecking crew and bodyguards Caitlin Clark like it's her sworn WNBA mission, the result is pure chaos. A full-blown on-court meltdown, tension boiling in the Sun locker room, and Sophie dishing out smoke like it's buy one get one free. This wasn't just a clapback. She went full Avengers mode on the entire Sun squad, serving up drama spicier than Angel Reese's Twitter feed.
Start with the play that set off the entire night. So as you guys can see here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin Clark nudges her off because JC stays in her face. And then Tina Charles runs over and is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face. And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor. Now let's watch this in slow motion. Here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin, swipes her in the face. There's one. Going for the ball, swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin's gonna have to start wearing goggles. And then Caitlin pushes her off of her, like, why are you still in my face? Marina Mabrey, bat out of hell, chucks Caitlin.
The moment Sophie Cunningham clocked in, the entire WNBA should have taken out insurance, because she didn't come to just hoop. She came to handle business, personally escorting Caitlin Clark out of every cheap shot and sneaky ambush like she was guarding a royal jewel in the middle of a street fight. Welcome to the WNBA.
To WNBA Fight Night, or as some people are saying, WNBA Raw. What a game that was. We had it all. We had basketball, we had fighting, we had blonde on blonde crime. Oh, such an epic. Oh, goodness. But at the end of the day, it resulted in an Indiana Fever W. 88-71, taking care of business.
Forget teammates. Sophie's moving like a Secret Service agent who moonlights as a demolition crew. Try to elbow Caitlin Clark and boom, she's teleporting in like a WWE tag-in, ready to wreck your shoe deal and realign your teeth in one move. Bump Clark after the whistle? Congratulations, you've just unleashed the full wrath of a professional enforcer with a jump shot and zero regard for your feelings.
Let's start here. This is, of course, Sophie and Sheldon going down the floor. Sophie tries to wrap her up, and Sheldon gets to the floor, and all hell breaks loose. And Sophie said, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. We'll go. We'll go. So there's that. That, of course, was all a byproduct of this right here, folks. And I mean, when I tell you social media is setting the WNBA on fire right now, not in a good way, that's the understatement.
She's not asking questions. She's delivering verdicts, turning the court into her courtroom where the sentence is always the same: maximum pressure. This isn't protection, it's domination by proxy, with Sophie mastering the art of the perfectly timed shoulder check, the soul-snatching stare, and the try-me body language that makes even the most aggressive veterans hesitate before crossing into her perimeter. And of course, Marina.
Of course, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected because that was unwarranted. She literally came out of nowhere and chucked Caitlin Clark. There should be a flagrant one, of course, on JC Sheldon because she swiped her and hit her in the eyeball. Whether it is intentional or not, you can still have a flagrant a flagrant foul called on you, whether you are trying to intentionally hurt somebody or not. But this is what they called, you guys. This is what they called. Caitlin Clark, Marina Mabrey, Tina Charles were assessed with technical fouls on Tuesday. Caitlin, Marina, and Tina Charles. Technical fouls. That's it. Technical fouls. That's it. And JC Sheldon was assessed with a flagrant 1 foul, and no players were ejected.
Sophie Cunningham doesn't wait for drama. She predicts it like she's been reading the opponent's group chat all week. If there's even a hint of hostility, she's already inbound, running on one frequency. Touch Caitlin Clark and you touch death. She's the WNBA's walking alarm system, permanently set to high alert, skipping the post-game hugs, warm-up handshakes, and shoot-around pleasantries. While others practice mindfulness and team bonding, Sophie's conducting silent background checks with her eyes, ready to summon a medic for anyone dumb enough to make a suspicious move toward Clark. The league isn't used to this kind of unwavering loyalty fused with nuclear-grade intensity. She's not arriving with a Zen playlist and motivational quotes. She's stomping into arenas hunting for any excuse to activate chaos. Her presence alone makes sideline reporters fidget and teammates quietly thank the basketball gods she's on their side. This isn't a skill you teach. It's pure instinct, a throwback to when defenders played like bouncers with full access. Cunningham has revived that legacy, painted it with a fresh coat of badassery, and topped it with a zero-tolerance policy for even the faintest whiff of disrespect.
And Sophie Cunningham put me out on a high note, folks. I didn't even say, Ben, calm down. Calm down, regroup. I didn't even say that. Let's get straight to the play. Everybody, the plays everybody is talking about. First off, Marina Mabrey body checking Caitlin Clark to the ground. JC Sheldon all over her. Riding her. Pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye. Oh, man. Caitlin Clark needs to start wearing goggles, folks. Caitlin Clark's going to need to start wearing goggles. Bumps up on Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark says, "Get your hands off me." And then here comes Marina Mabrey. Boom! Exploding Caitlin Clark like a safety coming downhill in the NFL. There was no flop.
The WNBA hasn't seen this level of unapologetic ride-or-die energy in years. It's Dennis Rodman with a girl boss twist and a deep grudge against passive aggression. Cunningham doesn't just show up. She dives headfirst into the eye of the storm and dares it to blow harder. Caitlin Clark didn't just enter the league with Rookie of the Month potential. She walked in with a target so big it could have its own zip code. From day one, she wasn't Rookie of the Month. She was Enemy of the Month. Every month, hunted not just by defenders, but by entire rosters treating her like it was open season. Some opponents brought game faces. Others brought petty grudges, old rivalries, and unresolved issues that had nothing to do with her, but got dumped on her anyway. Players lined up not to test her skills, but to try to crack her spirit. What none of them factored in was Sophie Cunningham, watching every move like a hawk that skipped brunch and came ready to feast.
About a minute and a half into recording this reaction earlier, with 1 minute left, and all hell broke loose between JC Sheldon and Sophie Cunningham, and it is very clear the Indiana Fever, some of these girls on this team are finally fed up. Finally fed up. Once again, WNBA, we're not talking about your basketball. We're talking about the WNBA WWE Raw circus that you got going on right now, and we all know this incident with Sophie stems from the incident that was clearly not handled correctly by the WNBA and the referees.
They underestimated how fast one woman could carve out a no-go zone around her teammate, turning every threat into a demolition opportunity. While Caitlin Clark handled the chaos of being the league's headline magnet, Sophie Cunningham became the storm chaser, steel spine, memory sharper than her crossover, making sure Clark never had to flinch at a loose elbow. This wasn't about stat sheets or highlight reels. It was about ensuring the rookie could play without wondering who was coming for her next. So while the league plotted, schemed, and whispered, Sophie strapped on metaphorical brass knuckles, guarding not just the future of the franchise, but its present. And here's what everyone missed. Caitlin didn't walk into the WNBA alone. She had Sophie, and Sophie's not the kind of bodyguard who walks you to your car and calls it a night. She's the kind who dismantles the parking lot, flips the car, and handcuffs anyone who even blinked wrong on the way out. For every shove Clark takes, Sophie delivers a televised spiritual awakening. And the league is learning that lesson the hard way.
All right, enough is enough. You know, at some point, the line gets crossed too often where something needs to be done and things need to be corrected. And that is certainly the case with the way things around Caitlin Clark are officiated. This is a constant problem now. You know, it is something that since the beginning, I've kind of like backed off on because physical play is a part of sports. You know, going after a superstar and trying to rough them up a little bit to get in their head is a part of sports. But when it crosses the line, the referees need to do their job.
When the Sun players tried to get cute with hard fouls and sneaky screens, Sophie Cunningham went full medieval. No hesitation, no excuses, just raw, primal basketball vengeance wrapped in a ponytail and a death stare. She didn't blink before stepping between Caitlin Clark and danger, like she'd been waiting her whole life to go full Terminator. And make no mistake, Sophie's not acting, not putting on a show, not staging some tough girl routine. She genuinely has zero patience for the "we play tough defense" excuse while someone's trying to turn Clark into a chiropractic patient. If you've got bad intentions for Caitlin Clark, Sophie's already 10 steps ahead with a legally questionable screen and enough intensity to get fined retroactively. At this point, it's not even about basketball. She's moved beyond defense into the realm of active deterrence. You know that moment when a player starts walking toward Clark with that smug, "I'm about to make a statement" body language? Sophie sees it before the cameras do, and suddenly, that player's heading back to the bench, not even sure why, just operating on pure survival instinct.
Kathy Engelberg. Hello, Earth to Kathy Engelberg. Are you gonna step in and do something about this trash that's going on? Players are getting assaulted on the floor. Like, come on, Caitlin Clark could have really got injured right there, y'all. She could have really got injured by these haters, these jealous, hating players. They just jealous and hating, bro. She didn't even get ejected.
Because once you've been stared down by Sophie Cunningham mid-game, your career choices start to unravel. She's not going 50%, not counting fouls, and definitely not worried about chirpy fans on social media. She's the WNBA's unofficial sheriff, and she's not here to take notes. Even her own team knows the drill. You want to talk trash? Sophie's already 6 sentences ahead, louder, meaner, and armed with more receipts than your accountant in April. And don't mistake her for reckless. This isn't chaos. It's precision-controlled demolition. She'll level you within the rules, smirk while you hit the hardwood, and then casually help her teammate walk away like nothing happened. It's not personal. Sophie just has a job to do. Protect Caitlin Clark at all costs. And if that means rebranding the WNBA as a full-contact sport with a mandatory dental plan, so be it. Interview 10.
Caitlin Clark, please leave this league and let it crumble. Please, this league does not deserve you. All this hate from these black people, all this hate from these lesbians, these people in the media, just go play basketball somewhere else. Your fans will follow you. We will follow you wherever you go. But let this shit crumble and burn to the fucking ground, man. Let the viewership drop below 50%. Let them lose hundreds of millions of dollars again, man. Let them go back into fucking irrelevancy. Nobody giving a damn about none of these players.
She's not asking for permission, and she's definitely not taking a vote. Sophie Cunningham is out here delivering full combat consequences, and the Sun felt every ounce of it. When tension started bubbling and players began circling Caitlin Clark like it was feeding time at the zoo, Sophie came flying in like a caffeine-fueled hawk with a grudge. Forget waving the red flag. She was the red flag, the warning sign, and the final boss all rolled into one. You'd think maybe one Sun player would say, "Hey, maybe we don't start a physical war with the team that's got a certified rage missile in a jersey." But no, this wasn't a scuffle. It was a declaration of war, and Sophie was the general, the artillery, and the battlefield all at once. As the dust settled and Clark kept draining jumpers like nothing happened, Sophie stood there like a victorious gladiator, unfazed, unshaken, and completely in control.
Nah. Enough's enough, bruh. Enough is enough, bruh. What is going on? WNBA, y'all need to get this under control. This is ridiculous. Marina Mabrey, you just put yourself in the Dejanay Carrington box. You dirty slime ball player, you come and blindside Caitlin Clark. Marina Mabrey assaulted and tried to fight Caitlin Clark today. This is ridiculous. WNBA, Kathy Engelberg, do something. Do y'all want to go back to 55 to 60% of the people not watching shit again? I normally don't cuss in my blogs, but forget that.
Because Sophie doesn't need validation, doesn't care about optics, and couldn't care less if your PR team thinks she's too intense. She came to enforce peace through maximum disruption. And now every team in the league knows. If you so much as sneeze in Caitlin Clark's direction, Sophie's already loading up with more intensity than a Marvel villain. She's not here for your respect. She's here to take your breath away, preferably while blocking your layup and pinning you with a stare that'll haunt your off-season workouts. Like an elite bodyguard with built-in rage sensors, she detects the vibe shift and hits DEFCON 1 the second someone disrespects her teammate. It's almost poetic. You shove Clark, Sophie gives you an unsolicited chiropractic adjustment. You chirp during a timeout. She's already waiting by the bench with her arms crossed like your disappointed gym teacher.
But first, let's talk about Sophie and JC. All right, JC Sheldon. My goodness, dog. My goodness. Now, honestly, I felt like Sophie might have wanted a piece of JC after the Caitlin Clark and JC kind of scuffle going on, right? Then this happened, okay?
She's rewriting the rule book on team spirit and replacing it with one simple law: don't make me end your season. Even commentators can't quite frame it. They call it competitive passion, but deep down they're just grateful she hasn't leapt into the booth to block them for saying something dumb. This isn't team chemistry, it's organized retaliation. Fans are catching on too. They're not just tuning in to watch Caitlin Clark drop 30. They're waiting for the exact moment Sophie decides to unleash righteous fury for every uncalled foul from the last 5 games. It's performance art now. 1 minute it's basketball, the next it's a full-on standoff between Sophie and whoever's foolish enough to test her. She's not just a player, she's a living, breathing deterrent. In nature, some animals flash bright colors to warn predators they're dangerous. In the WNBA, that's Sophie's face the second she senses foul play. And by now, the entire league knows the signal. Mess with Caitlin, and you're no longer playing basketball. You're stepping into your own personal episode of Survivor, and Sophie is the fire, the storm, and the tribal council all at once.
See Caitlin Clark on the receiving end of something, and it's not called correctly. In fact, she gets a technical foul after getting poked in the eye and then shoved to the floor, and Marina Mabrey doesn't even get thrown out of the game. It's basically open season on Caitlin Clark, and the special whistle that she supposedly gets goes in the other direction. Flagrantly so. They got to put it to an end. I mean, she's the most valuable player in the league in the most literal sense. And somehow she gets the opposite of superstar treatment.
She doesn't argue. She acts. She doesn't protest. She prevents. Sophie Cunningham isn't here for your podcast interviews or your sneaky elbows. She's here to make it abundantly clear that bullying will be met with equal and opposite annihilation, delivered with a smile that says, asterisk, try me again and you'll need therapy. Asterisk, this is the Sophie Cunningham era, and if Caitlin Clark is the future of the league, Sophie is the security clearance. You want to make a name for yourself off a dirty play? You'll be making that name while trying to breathe through your armpit after Sophie folds you into a brand new yoga pose. She's the insurance policy, the bouncer, the line in the sand, and the WNBA just got a lot more entertaining. Sophie doesn't do subtle. She makes statements, loud, physical, and unmistakable. And the message is crystal clear. Caitlin Clark is untouchable because Sophie said so. If you've got a problem with that, you'd better pack a helmet and say a prayer, because Sophie's coming, and she's bringing the thunder.